Okay, couple of things. A definition was given to me while I was either listening to one of the books or reading one of the books, and this would be one of the books penned by Paul Selig. This definition was: your expression equals Christ as you in form. Small self equals lower density identity. Now, that doesn't mean that these words were used in those texts. It just means that this message came through while I was engaged in those texts, because they seem to be like a doorway for certain messages to come through, or certain beings of love and light to communicate. So this they titled, "The light you are is reflected on all it touches." Imagine now your color is blue, and blue radiates out from you and casts a blue tint on everything you see. As you move to the higher octaves, your color changes. Now your color is golden, and you cast a golden tint on everything you see. The same object looks different with the blue tint than with the gold, and this is how you make things new. You radiate a system of seeing based on your alignment. My cup is empty. Woe is me, my cup is empty. Or, joy for me, my cup can now receive another drink without taint from the last. It is a way of being, seeing, and experiencing your environment. The light you are is reflected on all that it comes near. The light you are can be perceived and accepted by any and all. If any choose to accept your light into their experience, their light mixes with yours, and they are no longer in the world as they were. They are then in the world as a blend of your light and their light. Now they are new and continue on the path of process, as do you, of purifying the light they are, to most resemble the light of Christ. This is a separate message. It was given to me at another time, and it is, who is it that has called you into being? Is it not the source of all that ever was and ever could be? How do I, the source of you, communicate with you? Would you suppose I may be limited in my resources to reach you? Can you truly believe that I would exclude any means to make you hear my word? Are you vain enough to think that your brother comes not as my messenger? Who are you to discount the ways I call to you? Who are you to deem my methods unworthy? In love I send many, whose form you deny. The experiences lived by those brothers, sisters of misery, of suffering, they are for you, that you may remember me, and thus remember you. Find me, seek me in all that troubles you about your world. Look for me, I am there. I am you, looking out the eyes of your form. I am you, translating all that touches you. I am you, remember me. I am the love that you are. I am that, as are you. Now, I have to say that this message was received on 9/3. What is the date today? Do you know? Okay. And more on that. Okay, so also received on 9/3 is this. Seek ye first the kingdom means to know the divine in all form as all you encounter and experience. If your will is aligned to truth, your every prayer will be, Father, Mother, God, I know everything I experience is to bring me closer to you. I know that every experience is you calling me home. I know that it is you in all that I see leading me back to a place I never left, which is oneness, unity with you. God is as Christ in the becoming as God. God is the stillness, and Christ is the motion, movement as God. God is the source of all, and Christ is creation as God. What you deny God in denies you, keeps you separate from God. It is all or it is none. When you can claim yourself of God, you can claim all of God and begin to unravel the illusions of separation. Okay. Now I will tell the story that happened today. My sister took my parking space. Making false claims, a practical application. Now that is the title that they gave to the situation. So I will now tell you what that is. My husband and I went out for breakfast. I was driving and we got to the parking lot, and I came in a back way, and so I came in the back way and I was sitting waiting because there was a car backing out of the parking space not too far, maybe 5 parked cars, so horizontal distance ahead of me, and this car was backing out. So I sat there waiting for the car to back out so they could leave and I could take that space. While I sat there waiting for the car to back out, someone else came in from the upper end, a different entrance, whizzed right in front of us, made the turn, and took that parking space. While I still sat there waiting for this to clear. Instantly, I felt annoyed and agitated. And I recognized that I felt annoyed and agitated, and I even gestured to my husband like, what is that? They pulled in, the woman driving, my sister, right, driving, came in as if she hadn't even seen us, like we weren't even there. There was she didn't even look in our direction, there was nothing. Now, what's incredible about this is I didn't realize that there was a parking space right next to the one that she took because I was sitting waiting for the car to finish backing out and pulling ahead. I couldn't see that there was an empty space, that there were actually 2 empty spaces there. So I pulled in right beside her, and we went into the restaurant and we were seated after they were seated, and it was fine. But while we were sitting waiting for our food to come, I noticed that I was still having this agitation. And I discussed it with my husband, and I said, what is this? What's going on with this? Why am I so agitated? Why am I so upset about this? And so as I sat there and I communicated to him what was going on, I'm like, I sit here in agitation, and it's just like, it's like all these emotional sensations going through the body. And then there's the wanting to blame myself, wanting to be angry with myself for feeling the way I'm feeling because I have this agitation. Because on the mind level, I say, this is my sister, and I should be happy and welcome the opportunity to serve in this way, to allow her to have this space. And the other part of me is like, still feels the agitation, even though in here, even though I know the truth that everything happens for a reason. And so as I'm sitting there talking to him, I'm like, oh my gosh, I get it, what this is here to show me. Okay. So the teaching is making false claims. So this goes beyond the commandment about bearing false witness, okay? This is a more subtle but deeper level. So when the commandment was given about, I'm going to call it a commandment because that's what most people believe they are, but when this was given, okay, it was not to bear false witness. That means lying, okay? But on a deeper level, it's how do we lie to ourselves? So we can make false claims. And the way we make false claims is by claiming, I claimed that parking space for myself. Okay, I claimed that parking space for myself, but obviously it was not intended for me. How do I know? Because my sister got the space, and it wasn't, I was not the one that parked there. Now, I said to my husband, I said, why am I agitated? We were denied nothing. Nothing was withheld from us, because there was a space right next to it that we were still able, like, we weren't affected by this at all, though it agitated me to some degree. So I had to look at why. It agitated me because I had claimed that space for myself. I claimed it, the small self claimed it, but it was not in alignment with the will of God. The will of God was, you wait here, allow an allowance for your sister to come in and park, and then you still are given that space next to hers. This was the intent. How do we know? Because that's what happened. Okay. So this goes into actually a message that was given to me, a message that was just given to me just a few minutes ago. The practical application is, I made a false claim. I claimed something that was not intended for me as mine, and caused myself suffering. And truly caused myself suffering because nothing changed. The situation was exactly as it was the same. I was denied nothing. Nothing was withheld from us. And so in this situation, it was made so plainly, so clear how this works. And I said, and I know that parking space was meant for her because she didn't even realize we were sitting there. She didn't even acknowledge that we were there. She pulled right in. It was seamless. She didn't even really have to slow down very much. It was just absolute perfect timing for her, if I observe it from that perspective. And so I know that this happened. And I know that my agitation came from the fact that I had already claimed a future occurrence. I claimed it even though it was not what was meant to be. Okay, so there's that practical application of making false claims on the level of, I lied to myself by assuming, presuming, projecting that future outcome when that's not what the plan was at all. Okay? So, not at all, but not exactly, because I ended up getting the space right next to her anyway. Okay, so, which leads to the message I was given just a couple minutes ago. It's really kind of, synchronicity, I shouldn't be surprised, but it's amazing how these things seamlessly come together when, the messages were given days apart. It's just amazing. Okay. This one is perfection. Perfection as the expression of God in any and all forms. The bigot, the zealot, the enter label here are all judgments you have claimed in a field of frequency. Perfection is any as expression of God. How can you deny the perfection of any person, any situation? Because you have denied its worth. You have denied its value. Then you must trust that its value is, no matter that it escapes your understanding. Appreciate it, because no thing is without worth in God. In God, no thing is without worth. That doesn't mean you allow the thief to steal the car. It simply means that happenings The occurrence serves those involved, though the way it serves may not be recognized nor understood by you. That is all for now. In peace and in love, may you be blessed.